you guys really enjoyed the last video I posted where I talked about my favorite art books. If you haven't seen it, I'll post a little link somewhere up here. So I thought I would bring you round 2 and talk about more art books that I really enjoy and I think have had a big impact on my work or have really inspired me. So first I wanted to show you guys this book, Classical Painting Atelier, a contemporary guide to traditional studio practice. And this is by Juliette Aristides. I don't know how to say that. This book really kind of introduced me to this book. Okay. This book really introduced me to ateliers. I kind of wasn't really familiar with them before I just happened to pick up this book. But it's really nice because it goes in detail a lot about everything that a student will learn in an atelier and all the different concepts that they'll cover and different subjects that they'll kind of master, like still life. It goes really in depth into composition, which I really enjoyed. I had never seen like all of the different ways that classical painters had thought about composition before like reading this book. So that was super interesting. But yeah, it has a lot of really great artwork to just look at as well. And I've discovered a lot of even contemporary painters that I really like, classical painters, but it's just a great book if you're interested at all in the classical way of working and painting and how a student might learn in an atelier. Another book that I really like and should definitely read again is, let me blur it out, The Artist's Complete Guide to Figure Drawing by Anthony Ryder. A contemporary perspective on the classical tradition. But this kind of goes in detail to pretty much all of the techniques and materials that they learn in like classical realism ateliers on figure drawing. Yeah, and it just goes into detail with like pretty much anything you could want to know about like rendering the figure in graphite and the steps that he takes. It's actually been a while since I've read this book. I really should skim through it again because I feel like I'm ready to absorb more information from it. But yeah, this is really great. I don't think it was that expensive either because it's kind of like just a flimsy little paperback. Okay, to switch gears again, I love my variety of art books. I have this Blade Runner 2049 Interlinked, the art. And this shows a lot of the concept art from the movie. Ignore the destroyed corner. I have dogs that sometimes are not well behaved. But my cat, the orange boy, who was just up on the chair, his name is actually Officer K, after Officer K from Blade Runner 2049. So fun fact. But I really enjoyed looking through the concept art for the movie. It explains the process for how they went about like making the concept art and like how they collaborated with each other because it was a big team working on this Blade Runner project. And I really loved a lot of the concept art for like the vehicles as well. And it has a lot of like super early concepts, more like refined concepts. Hi little boy. Baby boy. Come here little boy. There you are. But yeah, so lots of like cool, if you're into like sci-fi stuff at all, guns, like cyberpunk-esque things, then you'll probably really enjoy the concept art for the movie. Just super, super interesting to look through. So I recommend it if you like concept art or if you're a Blade Runner 2049 fan. Another book that I really like, and it's actually just a random art book I got off of the Super Ani website when I bought probably like Stonehouse's Anatomy, which I talked about in the previous video. But I got this book. It's just called HOOOOOK. I just saw the preview for some of the art and I was like, this looks cool, so I picked it up. And apparently it is the Art of Woojin. It's got just a bunch of art, not any text. It's just a bunch of like super cool digital art, and I don't know, I just love this person's style, and it's very unique, and it looks very like painterly as well, even though I'm pretty sure all of these are digital, but they have a very like painterly way of like putting down their brush marks. I'm a huge fan if you just want something like new to look at. Like these are so cool to me. I really like these. But yeah, so I'm a big fan. I don't know if you just wanna, I don't know the history of this artist really at all, but I do really enjoy this art book, and just the quantity art in it and all the really cool illustrations. So pick it up if you're wanting something new. Now we've got this big juicer of a book. This is Velázquez, The Complete Works. Really awesome if you're into Velázquez at all, or into like classical painting. I mean, I don't think you necessarily need to be into Velázquez specifically. It's just great. It has a lot of really nice large images. I mean, look at the size of these pages, are pretty huge. So it's got some nice large prints of all of his works, it seems. And then it kind of goes through the different like periods of his life and like the paintings he made in the different periods of his life. And it has some like nice close-up photos as well. I forgot about these. They got a lot of cool like guys with their like hunting dogs. And there's another painting of like an elk or a deer that I really like too. I'll try to find it. Ooh, but like look at these close-ups. These are so fun to look at. So yeah, I really recommend this book. I'm pretty sure you kind of can't really go wrong with any of the Taschen books, I don't think. I mean, post down in the comments if you have one that you don't like, I guess. 10 out of 10, at least this one. Another book which I'm not going to spend too much time on it because everyone and their mom recommends this book and probably already has this book. But Color and Light by James Gurney. Everyone loves it, and for good reason. It is really good at explaining pretty much everything you could possibly need to know about like how light interacts with things and how it looks in shadow and how it interacts with color and how it like interacts with different surfaces and the atmosphere. Pretty much everything you could need to know about color and light is in this book. I honestly haven't looked at it in years, and I feel like I really, again, a lot of these books, I feel like I should read them. I feel like I need to read them all right now because there's so much stuff that I probably like didn't absorb at the time that now I feel like I'm ready to absorb. Another book that I have not finished, but I started, and even right when I started, I was like, oh, it like made so many things click for me. But it's The Practice of Oil Painting and Drawing by Solomon J. Solomon, which would be right here, but this is another book one of my dogs got to. But Solomon J. Solomon is obviously like an extremely talented painter, and he did a really good job at documenting like everything he would teach his students. It was originally published in 1911. So, and then this version was first published in 2012. But so it's interesting having like this complete guide on like drawing and painting from a classical painter who, you know, is one of like the classical painters that you like think of when you think of like classical realism. Honestly, he talks a little bit about like drawing the figure, which covers a lot of the similar concepts that are in that other figure drawing book by Anthony Ryder that I showed earlier, except maybe it's a little bit abridged because he covers so many topics in this book. But yeah, a lot of the things, like he just explained a few concepts in this book, and it just like made things kind of click for me. When you're like drawing a portrait or figure or really anything, looking at the negative shape and like the space between an object rather than like looking at the object itself to like make sure the shape's right, that like somehow that like really connected with me when I saw it in this book specifically. But yeah, so I need to finish it. a lot of people love it, so I feel fine recommending it, even though I haven't finished it yet. It's mostly text, but there are some little pictures to like explain what he is talking about. Okay, another book that I highly recommend if you're an artist, but this book I don't own the physical copy. I just own the digital copy that I keep on my iPad. These books are anatomy for sculptors. I have the full body anatomy one. It's called Understanding the Human Figure. And I also have the version for the form of the head and neck, which looks like this. Yeah, these are so useful. I constantly pull these up whenever I'm doing anything with a face or a body or anything. Like, it has all the skeleton stuff, it has all the muscles. There's so many anatomy books, but this one specifically for sculptors I feel like has been really useful for me. I want to say especially the head one. I think a lot of the information in the body one I could find in my other Stonehouse anatomy book, which I talked about in the last video, or I could find elsewhere online. But the head one specifically has really good breakdowns of like, is the shape kind of dominated by the bone protruding? What parts are more of the fat sticking out that's causing like the shape that we see? What part is maybe caused more by like the muscle? And it shows like breakdowns, all of the muscles in the face. Here, this is showing where the skull protrudes, where the skull is like closer to the surface of the skin. And it kind of shows how like the fat pads on the face will change through time. Like you kind of get more jowls. And it has nice 3D scans of different ages, ethnicities. I super recommend the head one, and then I also do really like the body one, but if like you only want to buy one right now and you want to save money, I'd maybe go for the head one first, assuming you do portraits. 10 out of 10, really enjoy that. Okay, so I think that'll be it for this video. I was thinking about doing another video where I can talk about some apps and programs I have on the iPad or computer, some paid, some free, that I found really useful for reference when drawing or painting. So let me know if you're interested in that, or if you want to hear about art books that I don't like. I don't know if I should make that video. I got a recommendation on the last video. I still need to buy that book, but maybe I'll do a review once I do. I love reviewing things, so let me know if you want me to review something and I will. And I'll go more in detail than just what I've been doing, because I know I like all these books, so I'm just kind of telling you that I like these books. Okay, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you liked it, and don't subscribe if you didn't like it. Okay, bye!